Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're going to take a look again at the Daughters of Khaine, and in particular this time, the Zainthar Kai subfaction, commonly known as Cobra Kai. In this video, we're going to talk about everything that makes Zainthar Kai special in this army, what exactly it gets on top of a normal Daughters of Khaine army, and then we'll look at some units we can start our force with before expanding upon and looking at some other units to expand that force with, and finally finishing off the video with a little sample army list for you to use as some inspiration for your own army list, or indeed copy ours if that's what you wish to do. So with that all said, Zainthar Kai, what exactly do we get with this particular subfaction? Well, first of all, we don't lose anything. Sometimes you may lose particular things with certain subfactions around the game. Zainthar Kai is not one of them. Now, they get a cool ability that works for all your Melusai units. These are your Blood Sisters, Blood Stalkers, Bloodwreck Shrine, Bloodwreck Medusa, and the, what is he called? The Melusai Iron Scale. Now, each time one of these Melusai model is slain, that model may fight before it is removed from play. So pretty cool stuff there, which is really nice, meaning you're going to get some extra attacks out of your models, especially when they've got some decent attacking profiles on some of the more combat units. It can be really nice. On top of this as well, you're going to have access to Melusai units as battle line without the need to take a Melusai General. Now, you may not always want to take a Melusai General, but it's definitely there as an option for your army, not having to take any of the Melusai characters if you don't wish to. So which does just give you a much broader sort of option pool to play with for your characters. With that said though, it's obvious this subfaction is all about the Snake Ladies, all about the Melusai. So let's get cracking on and let's check out the suggestions. And so to start our video, we're going to talk about the Melusai Iron Scale. This is the combat orientated character, or more sort of a buff piece rather than a dedicated combat character really. The big thing is we have a command ability on this model that's going to allow a Melusai unit to charge even if it is run or shot in the previous turn. So really useful for enabling your Melusai units to move that a little bit quicker. Unlike Daughters of Khaine, things like Witch Elves and Sister Slaughter, they do not have run and charge from no banners or hornblowers. So definitely a really nice buff. He's got the Crystal Touch ability, which is pretty cool to do some mortal wounds after it attacks. And in general, just a nice solid hero option. A little bit more survivable than some of your other options of sort of foot troops. Alongside with this model, of course, we are going to take some Blood Sisters. These are combat snakes. They've got 2 wounds apiece, they've got a 5-up save, they've got the ability to do some mortal wounds and a decent reach. Nice 2-inch reach, meaning larger units of these models certainly work and are much easier to wield and control on the tabletop. Run and charge on these particular things from the Melusai Iron Scale can make them rather frightening when they've got a pretty decent standard move for some heavy infantry. You can also get a variety of different buffs from around the place to really make this unit punch well above its weight. A really solid choice to get started with for your Melusai style army. And so, where do we go from there to expand upon it and to have a look at some other units we can bring into the force? Well, first of all, the Bloodwreck Medusa or the Bloodwreck Shrine are both really solid options. Both of them have a cool shooting attack that is great versus hordes, and especially great when you consider the Bloodwreck Shrine has a rather large base. This is a 12-inch range attack where they roll a dice for every model in range in the target unit, and they do some mortal wounds based on some dice rolls. On top of this, they are wizards, so they get access to the really nice spell lore that Daughters of Khaine have access to. And there are some really cool artifacts that help making these casters pretty good at getting some spells. So if you can get things like +1 damage, +1 rend, you can get extra movement, you can do some direct damage, you can heal. There's a really large variety of different spells you can use, which is really nice. Now, alongside them, we have our last Melusai units in the army, and that is the Blood Stalkers. This is actually a dual kit with the Blood Sisters. You can build either one you want from this kit. Blood Stalkers are your shooting snakes. They do mortal wounds at range, 24-inch range with 2 shots, which is really nice considering their movement is really good as well. They can provide a really decent ranged threat. And especially good with some particular bonuses. You can get them to potentially double shoot in turn depending on what models you're taking within your army. Other than this, that's really what they do. They are your shooting snakes. They're going to sit backfield, they're going to provide some supporting fire and allow you to sort of dictate the battlefield a little bit more because their mortal wounds can be pretty effective. Now, speaking of non-Melusai units I really like to bring into the force, first of all is the Hag Queen. The sippy cup, the witch brew that she has is really, really nice. This provides you with the ability to give one of your Daughters of Khaine units, which could be the Hag Queen herself. I've seen it used and it has worked favourably for the person who did it when they needed it in a pinch. She can allow a unit to count as a turn ahead for the purposes of the blood rights table, which is really nice, just meaning you're going to get, you know, those buffs that a little bit earlier for a unit, which can be really, really useful. Now, you also have the Slaughter Queen as well, and it probably should be mentioned at this point that the Bloodrack Medusa, Hag Queen, Slaughter Queen all come inside the Cauldron of Blood kit. You can pick up a Hag Queen if you went and got Morgwaith's Blade Coven, the Underworld's Warband as well, but all of them do come inside of that Cauldron of Blood kit, which will also allow you to build a Cauldron of Blood or Bloodrack Shrine, and potentially give you an avatar on foot as well if you build the Bloodrack Shrine. Anyway, the Slaughter Queen, she's got a cool command ability where she allows a unit to attack in the hero phase, which is really, really nice, just getting some extra damage. This is really, really useful when you're trying to clear out something, when you're not trying to get bogged down, allowing a unit to attack again. This also stops your opponent being able to use things like all that defense to protect themselves from these attacks. Really useful on some of your combat units that have the ability to do quite a decent amount of mortal wounds after they finish attacking. For me, it's really a toss-up between the Hag Queen and the Slaughter Queen. I think they both have very good value for the army and provide a lot of benefits to the Melusai units. It's worth noting too that there are no Melusai priests, so the Hag Queen and the Slaughter Queen are how you're going to get some prayers and invocations into your force with the Melusai army. And so here we have our little sample army list of the Daughters of Khaine for Zainthar, actually, because this faction actually went and is part of the main sort of force that took Anvilgarde with Morathi, so we've gone for a little bit of narrative there. Hold the line because we've got a decent amount of units. Now, Melusai Ironscale is going to be our general. He's going to have the command trait Zealous Orator, which is just an absolutely fantastic command trait, especially when you've got really high value models in larger quantities. This allows you, when you use a rally command, to bring back models on a 4+ rather than a 6+. Really, really useful. We then have an artifact called the Crown of Woe on our Melusai Ironscale. This stops our opponent being able to use Inspiring Presence and Rally within 9 inches of this model. And if this model ever kills something, it's going to turn into a 15-inch aura instead. We then have a Bloodrack Medusa, which is going to have our second artifact because we have gone for a command entourage in this force. The Shadowstone gives them +1 to cast and Allure Shadow spells, and we've got Mind Razor, which is absolutely amazing. It puts +1 rend on a unit and also +1 damage when they charge as well, so really, really solid stuff there. Hag Queen, a Catechism of Murder, is really nice. This gives our unit exploding 6s, which means every time they roll a 6 to hit, they're going to get 2 hits instead of 1. And then for Battle Line, a unit of 10 Blood Sisters and 2 units, 5 Bloodstalkers, providing some fire support. No need to sort of see where our main punching force is going to come. Those Blood Sisters definitely supported by a bunch of our units. And then for battalions, we've gone the Commander Entourage, as mentioned, for the second artifact. We've also got Hunters in the Heartlands to put all our Melusai units of Blood Sisters and Blood Stalkers in, meaning they won't get hit by any monstrous rampages. No stopping them available to use any commands or stuff like that. Really, really important. And then we are a perfect 1,000 points with 1 out of 2 of our reinforced units. No allies. 57 wounds is decent, and 6 drops. If you've been playing with Daughters of Khaine, if you're excited for the new Daughters of Khaine Battle Tome, let us know how you've been going, what you plan to do with your Daughters of Khaine, especially if you're using Zainthar, down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Sinful Gaming, we've got a link to our Discord server down in the video's description. And if you'd like to help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by joining Patreon or YouTube members, or purchasing something from our Ko-fi web store. All of them are linked in the video's description. Thank you all for everyone who chooses to help support the channel. As a special thank you to those people who have supported via Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give a special shout out to them all. So a shout out to our patrons Christian Weir, James, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowe, Aaron Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nielsen, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Dyna226, Derek, and GRP390. A special thank you to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny, Lockloric, the Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Sean Scott, Pink Nico Fire, and Robin Mankiller as well. Lastly, a special shout out first of all to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel you see, and to Xmorphic, who has done an amazing job at setting up our Discord server for her and making us have a nice place to content and to chat with all of our community. Thank you all for watching once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.